Good morning. We are here today in Upshur County, West Virginia, at a small park a couple miles east of the town of Buchanan, West Virginia. We have come here to see a tree. Not just any tree, but a very historic tree. And not just any historic tree, but specifically the Pringle Tree. Back around the time of the French and Indian War, there were two brothers by the names of John and Samuel Pringle, no relation to the potato chips. They lived along the south branch of the Potomac River in what is now the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. They enlisted the Army, that is the British Army, as this was before the American Revolution, and were stationed with the British garrison at Fort Pitt, where modern-day Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was located. Long about 1861, the brothers decided they didn't like life in the Army anymore. So they just up and deserted, along with two other soldiers by the name of William Childers and Joe Lindsay. They wandered about in the wilderness of southwestern Pennsylvania around the Monongahela and Youghiogheny rivers. The following year, they went to some place called Looney's Creek. I have no idea where Looney's Creek is. The only Looney's Creek I could find was hundreds of miles away in southwestern Virginia, and I doubt that's where they went. But anyways, they went to this Looney's Creek place where Childers and Lindsay were recaptured. The Pringle brothers managed to escape capture and soon found work with a fellow by the name of John Simpson, who was a trapper and the trader in the area. Now, they stuck around with Simpson until about 1764, when they got into an argument over something. And they headed their separate way. Simpson, it is said, moved to the headwaters of the Elk River near present-day Clarksburg, West Virginia, until more and more permanent settlers started coming in, and he decided, I'm not going to live here anymore, and is believed he was set off to move to Kentucky. The brothers remained in the area and followed the Tigard River further upstream along the Buchanan River, which you see right here adjacent to the park. There they happened upon this ginormous sycamore tree. And if you know anything about sycamore trees, no, that's not it. If you know anything about sycamore trees, you know that they can grow very, very tall, and get very, very big, and they live a very, very long time. Once the tree gets to be 80, 90, 100 years old or so, they naturally begin to become hollow on the insides and will sometimes cleave along the side of their trunks, creating an opening to the hollowed out insides, even though the rest of the tree remains alive. Now, this particular sycamore was so big, how big was it, that you could actually walk inside it. It was said that the cavity inside of the tree was over 8 feet wide. And there, the Pringle brothers would live for the next 3 years. By the fall of 1764, John Pringle went to visit a trading post back in the South Branch area, where he learned that the French and Indian War was over and they were no longer fugitives. So he returned to this area about 1768, met up with his brother who was still living here, and told them the good news. Then they abandoned their tree home, or tree house if you want to call it that, and headed back to the South Branch River Valley and told their story. About 1769, Samuel and his new wife Charity led a group of families to what is now the town of Buchanan, West Virginia, which, as I mentioned, is just a couple miles to the west. So we have here a little park dedicated to the Pringle Tree. Now, this is not the exact tree that the brothers lived in. This is believed to be the third generation of that very same tree. And you can see it is very, very big right now, and I imagine it will continue to grow as time goes on. Of course, they have it fenced off here, so you can't get right up to it, which is probably a good idea. There's always somebody out there who wants to chop a piece out of it for a souvenir, or spray paint it, tag it or whatever, and just be a general nuisance.
It's all a bunch of tree-hugging hippie crap.
This is the descendant of the original sycamore tree. It seems very, very much bent over to the west. Why that is, I don't know. But the branches stick out probably a good 50 feet or so, some of them, from the base of the tree. I just hope that someday the weight of the tree does not get the better of it and cause it to fall down. Now you can see through this little tiny hole here that the tree has already begun to hollow itself out. I can't get back there to see how hollow it is, but it's something sycamores naturally do. They just hollow out after a while. And it made a home for the Pringle brothers while they were here. Maybe this is a better view. Pringle Tree. This hollow sycamore is the third generation tree that provided a home for the first settlers in this area of West Virginia, John and Samuel Pringle. After fleeing from Fort Pitt, they lived here from 1764 to 1767. So this concludes our visit to the Pringle Tree, and I hope that if you weren't careful, you might have learned something here. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel and all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. This is the Tactical Panda signing off.